okay because we've reworked, we've re-rated the data and it's okay, then that just proves that they're not fit to do vaccine safety research and that our suspicions were right all along.
Is he still talking? I mean,
he can't. He's got a lawyer. His lawyer will say absolutely nothing to anyone until you testify before the U.S. Congress. So that's where.
That's why the movie's based on from the 4 hours of the phone recordings versus an interview, which we would have loved to have had. But that's true. I mean, look at you can't put this genie back in the bottle. We have 4 hours of a confession recorded, and then we have 10,000 documents he's provided to back that up. We're never letting the CDC get out from under that.
so he's not remorseful of what he's done. He's not saying, "Oh, I didn't say all this." He's not backtracking his story.
Not yet. Yeah,
That's what everybody's trying to say now. Oh, he's back.
Well, I mean, look at. I will say this. I'll say this. Look, when you make a movie that has this much data and this much proof in it, and you're calling out the government of the United States, the pharmaceutical industry, and media itself, we expect something to happen. We expect some sort of pushback, and if the best option they have is to somehow force him to rework this data and try and wipe their fingerprints off of a murder weapon, then they will be admitting exactly what we are saying they are. They're a bunch of liars and thieves, and we're going to bury them with it. I mean, that's where it's at.
I actually have a question for Dr. Rachel Ross. I've only just met Dr. Rachel Ross, but this is a question I desperately, I'm passionate about this, and I desperately need some help on this. We all do. So I was extremely pro-vaccine. I went into my paediatrician, and whatever my paediatrician said, I just did. I didn't question, never question. How do we get the paediatricians around the world to be like you? How do we do it? How do we stop these babies being damaged?
You know, I think about this all the time because I'm around doctors all the time, and I'm having these conversations, and they're kind of looking at me like, well, all that stuff you're talking about is fake, Rachel. I really do think, even with them, I mean, because honestly, I don't think they want to be doing harm. I honestly think they want to do the right thing. This is just what's been force-fed down our throats for so long. I think it has to come from the emotional piece too. I think it has to be meeting you and hearing your story and meeting all the people. I mean, half of the theater stood up. I mean, I got goosebumps and almost teared up. So I really do think that our profession has a lot of doctors that are just like me. They're just trying to do right and help people. And once you realize that may not be what you're doing, and when it comes from seeing the testimonies, moms know their kids. And as physicians, we know this. We ask mom, well, what happened? They can tell you exactly what the rash looked like, what they had started, what time it was, you know, all these things. But now all of a sudden, we have these parents telling us about the switch that went off on their kid, and we're not believing them. So I think a lot of us just aren't seeing it. You know, we're hearing it, but we're not seeing it. So the power of YouTube and the internet and your stories and these documentaries, I think this is going to be what kind of changes medicine. It's just this emotional piece.
Can I say one last thing? Like I said, I've hid under the radar for years that I'm not vaccinated. My kids are only partially, all that. I just stayed quiet. Dr. Eisenstein told me to stay quiet. We need to not stay quiet. I'm not quiet anymore. My Facebook page is like y'all.
Yeah, everyone needs to. And the dads, we need to hear from the dads, please.
Yeah,
it's so
because
powerful.
everybody thinks they're alone. Everybody thinks they're the only one. And I pulled so many moms in, and they're like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. You cannot stay under the radar anymore. They're taking away all our rights.
That's absolutely
We're
right.
losing everything.
Right here.
Yeah, I'm just curious. Are there any childhood inflammatory diseases that are associated inflammatory diseases associated with vaccines?
Absolutely. You know, the thing about vaccines, and I want you to think about it like this, is say you eat strawberries and you didn't know you were allergic to strawberries. Now all of a sudden your whole body is inflamed because you ate strawberries. Well, imagine being allergic to strawberries and someone injects like 10,000 of them into you as a child without even realizing that you were allergic to it. That's why you see the difference between one child who's not injured and maybe the next child who is injured, because you never really know what's going to happen. So what's happening is the whole body is mounting a response. The whole body's like, oh my goodness, something's in here. We're going to fight it off. We're going to fight it off. We're going to do what we can. And it goes into hyperdrive. So now you have these childhood autoimmune disorders that didn't even exist, you know, years ago, because now all of a sudden your body is attacking your body,